Hey people, okay, so about 2 weeks ago I had a phone call with my job coach, and at the end of the phone call I asked her about checking with the people at her work in the communication department about how to land a job in my field, because I'm looking for a job in the communications field. And today she got back to me. So she said a couple of things. First off, she said go ahead and try to pad my resume with extra communication experience while I search for a career job. Ideally being like volunteering, internship, or some kind of freelance work, which I think would be a good idea just as long as it didn't interfere with lawns, schedule-wise, once that started back up in the spring. Because I don't need it interfering with my hours, which interferes with my money. But aside from that, yes, I think that's a good idea. Get me a little extra padding to keep up with the people who are currently applying to these jobs whom I'm competing with. Second thing is, she said about the wording, steer away from jobs that say director or manager in the title, because those are probably not entry-level jobs, which means it's highly unlikely that I'm going to be considered for those jobs. She said to instead stick to jobs that say things like coordinator, specialist, assistant. Those kinds of words imply entry-level, which means I would have more of a shot. And she also said beware that most companies might be passing over me in favor of other people, because other people may have more recent and more lengthy experience for these roles than I do. Hence why the padding with the extra volunteering and internships and freelance might help. And the third thing she said was to increase my networking skills, because she and the rest of her team think I will find more success by getting my name out there and making contacts who can vouch for me. And I think all of that is very good feedback, except I told her, how do you get more communication experience? How do you even start finding freelance work or volunteer opportunities within the field or internships that'll work with your schedule? How do you even go about doing that? And also, I'm a guy with no connections, so how do you even go about finding that or starting to build a network from scratch? Because I have no idea how to do that. So I emailed her with that, and hopefully she'll get back to me soon, and that's the story with that. Good ideas, but we need to go from idea to plan, or at least some kind of strategy. Although there was a good tip about the wording of the job I'm applying to, so search for stuff that says specialist, assistant, coordinator, and not director or manager, because it's more likely I'll get hired to those jobs that are code for entry level. And yes, I am up against people who are with more lengthy experience and more recent experience, so give me all the edge I can get here. So she's been very helpful. I'm glad she consulted with her team. I asked her if she could please pick the brains of the communication people at her work for the how of networking and padding my resume with extra communication experience while job hunting. So that said, I'm going to be a bit more picky about which jobs I apply to in the future, if they say specialist, coordinator, or assistant versus if they say director or manager. Just so you know that I probably have more of a chance with an entry-level job at this point. She's been very helpful, I'm glad, and she's said a lot of smart things. I just want to make sure that I'm getting the right kind of work. She also recommended a job at the end of her email and gave me the link to it, but I saw on the company site for that job, the requirement for education was a GED or high school diploma, and I asked for $16 an hour on the application, which for a college degree requiring a bachelor degree job, I feel that's justified, but for a job that's actually a high school graduate or a GED type job, I feel like they wouldn't give that to me for $16 an hour. But in my job coach's defense, she didn't know that when she recommended it to me, because it's not on her company's webpage that's the requirement. I had to go look at the job company's webpage, not her company's webpage, to find that. But still, she gave me good information, and hopefully I can use this to find out more. And hopefully she'll reply to me soon by picking the brains of the people in her communication department about the how of volunteering and internshipping and freelancing, and also, more importantly, the how of networking. Because I would like to know how to build a job search network from the ground up, because I have no connections, and I would really like to know. But I'm still grateful she gave me the advice, and hopefully, moving forward, I can do like she said and focus more on the quality of the applications instead of just applying to anything that seems remotely in my field. And yes, I'll probably have more of a chance with an entry-level job at this point. Those are just my thoughts. Hopefully it's a good idea. She's been smart so far, so I'm inclined to listen to her. Just saying.